The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Dr. Robert Underwood's my guest tonight. Of course, political self-determination is the topic. Doc, in Micronesian Educator, publication just came out, University of Guam, of course, under your leadership. I read it, and I tell you, it's a must-read. It's definitely a must-read, and it's available now in your bookstore.
Right.
Sure. Okay. You talk about, and people may read it and say, "Afasti, Diasmit,"
right,
about mobilizing. And next week we're going to have Martin Borja in here. We'll be talking about mobilizing the community as well. But you talk about Diasmit. What exactly is that?
Yeah.
Afasti,
Well,
Diasmit.
Diasmit's 10,000, and I told people, people asked me, this was originally a conversation about the Arab Spring and how mass movements create political change and political, and sometimes they go wrong. I mean, it's not like this is always going to turn out well. But, and so how can we take advantage of that for Guam? I said, well, you can't take advantage of that for Guam by analogy. You have to actually do it. So I said, what would be a good number of people to get out on the street that will demonstrate that Chamorros are here, that they're alive, that they care about their future, and that there's a lot of non-Chamorros who want to join them in that. I said, and have a demonstration of that. And if you could get 10,000 of people out in the street, people will know that this is serious. This is not the delusions of some wild-eyed radicals out there, or you know, some unhappiness from activists old like me, and then there's a bunch of other activists who are a lot younger, that this is just our constant, you know, a rock in our shoe or something. This is a serious issue. So we get those 10,000 people out there, and if we don't allow politicians to talk, that would be my number. That was the other consideration. Don't allow politicians to talk. Don't allow elected officials to talk, because they will inevitably confuse it with whatever agenda they want. This is about the rising up of political will. It's risky, because you don't know where the political will is going to take you. But there's lots of people out there saying, oh, the Chamorros, they're dead and gone. Don't worry about them. You know, they're happy. They're getting their food stamps, or they're going, half of them are in the States anyways. There's all kinds of characterizations made about the Chamorro people which are disparaging. And people who say those things don't understand how disparaging they are.
No, absolutely.
How hurtful they are.
Sure.
And so the way you deal with that is you bring out people, not to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Just bring out people to say, we're here, we care, and you should care too, because something's going to happen if you don't start paying.
You know, we go back to the numbers. Now, maybe not exactly the Diasmit, the 10,000, but I remember prior to former Senator Angel Santos, prior to him becoming a senator, I know he had a movement, and of course the Chamorro Land Trust, Chamorro Rights and things, and he had a growing number of people, absolutely, protesting and all that, and that number grew. And prior to politicians being involved, you know, they dispelled it as just a movement, a radical movement. But then the numbers started to grow. It started to grow. Politicians now started to come and line up and stand next to them. Of course, he got in the legislature, he passed on. The movement is still alive, but that number diminished. The number diminished. They're still protesting, but only a few. But you're right about that, about those numbers. But how can we get people again to do that without being labeled ingrato?
Well, fortunately we have Senator Morrison, who passed a bill that gave us Chamorro History Recognition Day. So maybe we should plan for that Chamorro Recognition History Day next year to begin organizing this. Because I really believe we will get 10,000. I believe that we'll get more. People will just come to Hagåtña and say, we're here. Give a few speeches, do a festival, do whatever it is, and people will know that you have to do something. You know, there used to be a bumper sticker that our dear departed friend Ron Rivera used to carry around. It says, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. And that's just such a great bumper sticker, because I fundamentally believe that. So, you know, political leaders, and of course I'm a recovering politician myself, so, you know, I should...
you got the intervention?
I got the intervention. Losing, that's a good intervention right there. So the notion is that elected officials really are stuck on the next election. They always are. So they're always strategizing on how to deal with that. And so but still look like they're, you know, have a broader vision.
Sure, sure.
So, but the people can do this. I believe it. I believe it fundamentally, and I believe if we start organizing it, and I believe that the use of social media will bring those numbers down. I believe there's coalitions of interest out there with all the different communities on Guam that will come out and support this.
Now, again, going back to the institutions, again, DOE, UOG, GCC, how do we get, again, them to come out with a message, not necessarily one message, because there are different points of view. I mean, you know, of course, when you have the university, you teach your students how to be independent thinkers.
That's
yeah.
right, that's right.
But that being said, how do we educate the educator to educate our students when they haven't yet gotten educated about it?
So the first thing is for the Commission on Self-Determination is to take the $300,000 and explain what they mean. And then this is what we're moving towards. We're moving towards an election of self-determination. And to stop just saying, I'm for self-determination, but in never explaining who the self is.
Sure.
Tell me who the self is. Could you just stop dancing around that for once?
Could
you just, for once, stop saying, I'm for self-determination, and then when you're asked, well, who's the self? They'll say, well, I don't know, that's for us to decide. Well, what? No, you have to advocate. So you have to, once you define that, then you have the educational agencies are then kind of obligated to say, this is a legally constituted body, the Commission on Self-Determination. This is what they're aiming toward. This is the basis for their determination. Other people may disagree, etc., etc. But there has to be a clear path to that. Right now, it's not there because you know, elected officials are afraid of the ramifications of defining the self.
Yeah,
they're afraid. That's why you need the 10,000 people out there to make them unafraid, and they will follow.
So they're afraid of defining the self, but they're all for the self-determination.
They're all
right?
for it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Be right back.